Hello friends and welcome back to the Cigars channel. Today me and Billy back to take a look at the Cuban and New World cigars in the month of July. Billy, what have you got today?
So I have the New World cigar of the month of July, and I have the La Invicta Honduran 58. Now this comes in at 3.5 inches long with a ring gauge of 58, and as you can imagine, clues in the name, all tobacco used in this cigar is grown in Honduras. It says it has a medium strength profile. I mean, this is the first time I've ever actually sampled this cigar, so I'm quite intrigued by it. Very small, usually go for something a little bit bigger, but I'm excited.
Cool.
What have you got?
So I have the Punch Short the Punch. This is a Cuban cigar and it comes in at 4 3/4 of an inch long with a 50 ring gauge. Let's get them cut and lit. We'll get straight into it. We're both in the first third now, and the Punch Short the Punch started off really earthy, and it's got a very oily texture to it. And then I found that there was a little bit of coffee bitterness in the background. I think it's a very, weirdly for a Cuban cigar, I think it's quite complex.
Okay.
Which is nice. I'm not sure if they're the flavours that I would typically steer towards, but
Balanced?
it's I would say it's balanced, yeah. And I'm hoping that it changes up in the final 2/3.
So,
but yeah.
good so far, just
yeah,
slightly different to what you usually
I say I'm enjoying it, but it's very different to what I usually smoke. So
see, it's funny you say that, because I mean, moving on to the La Invicta, it's the same thing, right? This took me by surprise upon first light. Basically, when I first lit this, before I even took a puff, before I took a draw, anything like that, the smell from the foot of the cigar, and I said to you off camera, it smells like creamy homemade rice pudding.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't translate so much into the flavour of the cigar. The cigar isn't necessarily a sweet cigar. I don't get none of that sort of creaminess or anything like that. It's kind of a very refreshing kind of cigar. It's kind of a lot of grass notes, hay notes, barnyard, really sort of refreshing, fresh notes.
Like light notes?
Yeah, it's like,
kind of
I can kind of go back to that
bright thing.
Where it's a little bit metallic-y.
Okay.
So it's very, very different, because that metallicness normally comes from the wrapper. It normally comes with a hint of earthiness and things like that. I don't necessarily get that. I get that grass and hay. Sort of move into a barn, you get that smell, the aroma. That's what I'm leaning towards, and that's kind of how I would explain this cigar.
Okay.
Very different to what I've had before.
Yeah.
But it's intriguing.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I hope it kind of heats up a little bit, gives me a little bit more meatiness towards the end. I'm not expecting it to, in all honesty, but I think give it a little bit of time and it'll be perfect.
Yeah. What about strength and construction then?
Strength is very mild.
Yeah.
I know it's a medium strength cigar, but for me personally, it's very mild. It's not given too much strength on the palate. It's not given too much of a nicotine kick or anything like that. In terms of draw, I would say that it's a little bit looser than I would usually prefer. Could be just preference. It could be anything between sort of how they've constructed it, kind of thing. But it's holding up well. Ash is stacking well. Burn is quite even. It's a little bit off towards the back, but that could be down to myself, you know.
Yeah.
I can't complain about it. It's just took me by surprise. It's very different to what I would very different to what I would expect. Sorry.
Okay. Interesting.
But we'll see how it
develops. I think construction-wise for myself, I'm really, really shocked. Usually when we smoke a Cuban, it tends to be pretty naff. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
But the Punch Short the Punch, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Like the draw is perfect. The burn it's ever so slightly wonky, but I've not had to relight it. And the ash is holding really well as well. I mean, as you saw off camera, I tried to knock it off and it just didn't want to go.
Yeah, usually Cuban cigars are the ones we end up ashing all over ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Indifferences? I can't think of what word I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'd say going to the strength side of things, this is probably light to medium, more so on the lighter side of things, but I'm expecting it'll pick up in the middle and final third.
As always.
Yeah, exactly. But should we get further down?
We shall, yeah. I'm excited to see where this is going to take me, to be fair.
Cool.
Let's do it. So we've made our way into the second third of these cigars today, and for the La Invicta, I can't say much has changed. I would say it's very kind of one-dimensional. The flavours have stayed consistent from beginning to this point. Very sort of fresh, refreshing barnyard, grassy hay notes. Not too much bitterness or anything like that. As I say, it's not really deviating from that path of refreshing, light, mellow flavour, you know?
Okay.
So, again, construction and things like that stayed true. Very, very good burn. Ash is holding pretty well. Draw still obviously on the looser side, but that's not going to change. There's not all that much to it. It's easy going, smooth, mellow, one that you could have at any point of the day. And you could probably introduce pretty much everybody to this cigar, and they would have somewhat of a good experience.
Yeah.
So, great entry point cigar for me.
Yeah.
I would say if someone came to me and said, "I've never smoked a cigar before, what would you recommend?" It's a small format. It's not going to take you all day to smoke. You can quite easily set aside half an hour, enjoy this cigar, and it's going to give you a great experience. It's going to give you that introduction, if you like.
Okay, cool.
What about you?
So for the punch, we're sitting at around a medium in strength now. You said with your La Invicta, it has kind of stayed consistent throughout pretty much. This one's kind of died down in flavour really.
Okay.
So the earthiness and that oiliness that I was getting at the start, that's completely gone now. It's now actually quite dry. So
Okay.
maybe like crackers.
Okay.
Kind of that sort of dryness to it. What's weird, I said this to you off camera. Typically with cigars, I find that I get an aftertaste when I put the cigar down or I stop smoking it.
Yeah.
And it's not a pleasant aftertaste in my opinion. Other people may disagree and may like that, but I personally don't like the aftertaste. This cigar doesn't really have much of an aftertaste, and if it does, the way I'd describe it is it's similar to the aftertaste of having mineral water. And it's such a weird, it's a weird kind of comparison, but I'm going to stick by that because that's what I feel.
I suppose it's the mineral content that you're getting. You can kind of taste that, or you're getting that on your palate somewhere along the line. It's a very intriguing flavour note to get from a cigar. I don't think I've ever heard it before.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's more so in the aftertaste.
Yeah.
But it's very odd, but I am enjoying it. I mean, it's burning incredibly well. I did have to relight it just a second ago, just on the side, because the construction was going a little bit iffy. But I mean, I can't really complain, to be honest. It's pretty impressive.
I think the two that we've got this month are very similar in that it's quite easygoing, mellow, kind of sticks to that same trajectory of flavour. Doesn't deviate too much.
Yeah.
They're just good entry level Cuban cigars, New World cigars, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
But we could take it down to the final third and we'll see if it spices up or heats up or anything like that, and see how they develop.
Cool. We've made our way into the final thirds now, and the punch has not changed too much. There is one extra flavour note now, which is oats, which is actually a really nice note. Have you ever had Ready Break?
Yes, used to love it as a kid.
Like that. And oh my god, unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just something, I don't know, it's just added a nice kind of sweetness to the end of it. It's quite, I don't know, I'm quite impressed with how it's changed, I think. It didn't change all too much in the middle, but that sweetness on the end, that's
just rounds it off nicely.
Yeah, it really has. And I'd say construction-wise, I've been really impressed with it. Strength-wise, sitting at a medium, just a safe medium, but nothing else to say about it, really. Really easy smoke. But yeah, I think this is a really good cigar at any time of the day. You could have it in the morning, you could have it at night, afternoon, whenever really. But yeah, nothing else to say about it. What about yours?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I've had a very similar experience to yourself with the La Invicta. I think across the first two thirds, it didn't change all that much. I had that freshness, I had that sort of grassy hay kind of note. Now, since getting into the final third, it's heated up. It's kind of brought this well-rounded bitterness, a little bit of earthiness, which has kind of complemented the rest of the cigar really, really nicely. I would say that the strength has also ramped up to a medium, and it's smoking a little bit hotter than it has done throughout the rest. I mean, you can kind of experience that across the board with cigars, to be fair, but it definitely has ramped up and offered a little bit more in that final third, which, again, as I said, it has complemented the rest of the cigar fantastically. Very, very easygoing cigar, entry level, as I previously mentioned. If you haven't yet tried one of these, I would definitely pick one up. It's a nice experience. Very short kind of format, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You know, it's an easy one to fit in. And if you haven't had that many, I would definitely pick one up, 100%.
Cool. If
Yeah.
you are interested in picking them up, there'll be a sampler online which you can check out at cigars.com. Thank you so much for watching, supporting the channel. Please check out our other videos and like this video. And until next time, stay safe and happy herfing. Peace.